My name is Karemi Igeria, based in Detroit, Michigan. Came to this country as a young 20-year-old, way back when, in the early 90s. Came to study, got into computer science, and been working as, worked as a system administrator in Unix, Windows, Linux, spent a lot of time in data centers, racking and stacking servers. And then over the years, I've gotten into cloud computing. So AWS cloud, that's the language I speak, that's the area I work in. I've also, over the last few years, gotten into financial investing, so things to do with bonds and any capital markets. That's another area I've gotten into. Working on some certifications. So that's me. I'm also big on SACCOs. I'm the secretary of Kenya USA Diaspora SACCO. So that's another vehicle that we investors can use if you're looking to invest in Kenya. I'm the secretary of that SACCO, and I invite every one of you to become a member. Thank you.
Let's have Karemi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jacob Mayani, and I am a resident of Virginia, originally from Kajiado, Kenya. And I am a founder of a small business called Southwest Analytics. And I'm currently working as a director for institutional research and planning at George Washington University, right here in Washington, D.C. I started my data analytic journey a couple of years back when I graduated from college. I went both my undergraduate and grad school here in the United States, in Harrisonburg, Virginia, the school called James Madison. And started working in higher ed, so I drew a lot of my data experience in higher education. And now I also serve as a president of a community organization called MA Diaspora, which represents all MA speakers living and working outside of East Africa. So this includes MA from Kenya and Tanzania, mostly in North America. So it's a pleasure to be here. And without forgetting, I'm also part of a small team together with Mak'Ouma that started the first inaugural DIAC conference in 2024 that took place at USIU, Nairobi, Kenya. So thank you.
Good, let's start for him. And myself, my name is Edwin McKinney. I'm an educator. I've been teaching here in the US for the last 5 years. So how the hosting the panel here. From my far hand, we can see we have the legal perspective. We have somebody from cloud computing, and here we have somebody from data analytics. And we're going to have a session where we're going to talk about partnership. And in this partnership, I want, because we have somebody who pays much detail to the law and detail. So let me describe partnership, and maybe he'll tell us if this sounds familiar. Two people meet, like in a conference like today, and they talk about themselves and a few things in 20 minutes, and then they finish and say, we must work together. And then 2-3 days down the line, they form a WhatsApp group, and then they say, let's come together and build a partnership and work together, come up with a company. And then 5-7 days down the line, somebody sends a message, one of the persons sends the message, and then it goes silent. Nobody's talking, no reply. Kenyan call it blue tick. Nobody's talking back. Ghosting, yeah, somebody's talking about ghosting. So my question to Danish, and we're going to begin with the autopsy and to get to know, like, why don't we have partnership? I was seated at the table back there with one of the friends who is a neighbor to Mak'Ouma. Professor Mark. Yeah. And he was telling me about, we try so much to partner with people back home. And there's so much going on, lack of trust and other things. We're going to talk about that. But as I begin, I want to begin with autopsy and get to know what is the reason why everybody tries to build this relationship back home and we begin partnership. What's happening? Like, why don't we have those partnerships go far? Is there a lack of structured relationship? Danish, you have time. You can tell us why.
For partnerships to be successful, then there must be some ingredients that make it a success. Number one is trust. Number two, many of us get into partnerships based on maybe finances of the people, but we do not talk about what is the green ingredient that binds the partnership. Mm-hmm. Trust is one of them, and for trust to be embedded in a partnership, then you need clear and structured legal contractual agreements. So basically, if you have got no clear legal contractual basis, then that partnership is bound to fail, and we are prone to see that it doesn't go any far.
Thank you so much, Danish. He mentioned about partnership must have trust. But I want to ask Karemi, I have a cousin back home, and we have a great relationship with that cousin of mine. And now that he's talked about trust, I trust him so much. Should I go ahead and begin having those partnership with him and we build some business?
From my experience, what I'll say is that you need the structure. So after trust has been established, you need structure. Just the same way we have structure in school, at the workplace, you know, you get in at 8 or 9. When it's time for a meeting, you log in and you turn on your camera or whatever. You know, there are all those structural elements that guide the relationship, right? So the expectations are known from the word go, and both parties are expected to adhere to them. Mm-hmm. So if you want your partnership to excel, right, you need to set those expectations and structure them properly. If it means meeting once a week or bi-weekly, you know, if it means using certain tools, set all those things properly and in place. That's what I'd say.
Thank you so much, Karemi. I'd like to move to my brother here, Jacob. Jacob is in the field of data analytics, and I think I've ever done a course in data analytics some time back, those Tableau and other things, and it was quite interesting field. And with him, he deals with spreadsheets, and I want to ask him about the indicators. So what are the early indicators that tells you that this partnership is going to thrive or this partnership is not going to thrive? So what are those early indicators that can give you those early signs?
Well, that's a wonderful question. Talking about KPIs, as popularly known in the data world, it's very, very important to make sure that you first, from the onset, establish some of these KPIs that you'll be measuring to be able to evaluate if this partnership is working or not. And some of those KPIs have been, my colleagues have alluded to, things like trust. You have to measure trust between you and your current or potential partners. And I believe there is actually a metric out there, I don't remember right now off my head, but there's a metric that measures the trustworthy for some of your audience. So to be able to know whether these people are sustainable partners or they have potential to attrition. You know, we measure some of those things like, it's almost like a retention and attrition. Mm-hmm. In higher education, we measure success of programs based on retention rates. Retention rate is a KPI that's commonly used in higher education. Let's say it's first-year attrition, people who are able to persist from one institution going to the second year. And that's normally a very, very important metric. So from this, from looking at a partnership perspective, you also run some type of a survey. Let's say, for instance, in the audience today, I believe there will be some type of a survey that will be sent to participants or the attendees of this conference to see, did you learn something from this conference? What, rating how much you recommend this conference to somebody else. So we need to have some type of metric to be able to measure how likely a person or your potential partner is going to refer your business or your business entity or technology product to others. If the rating is high, that knows that they trust in your product and they see potential for success. But if you see people's ratings being low, then you need to reevaluate and maybe look and examine your product further to see what is it that's not grasping people's attention. People have to see value. People have to see ROI, return on investment. One other thing that I wanted to mention is that if we really, when you consider partnership with our folks back at home, we need to have a paradigm shift in our mindset. I think we need to start viewing people from the diaspora as equal partners rather than just a source of remittances. Yeah. A lot of folks over there, they see us, they say, oh, this guy has money, I can partner with him because he'll provide me with startup fund. But people need to be on equal levels for potential for a sustainable partnership. Affiliate with that, if something happens to you, then you start finding some of these ghost responses. You write somebody an email, they don't reply. You were like, oh, I met this guy at this function. We started very strong, but somehow communications goes down until you lose that connection. So we need to really have some of those return on investment and being able to measure some of this connection. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's great. That's great. That's great points right there. We're almost running out of time, but I'd like to move to Karimi before we go to Danish. Karimi, there's a big question here, and my big question is, we've talked about creating trust, but we have technology here, and that's why we are seated in this room today, talking about AI, talking about tech, how we can use it, even as we continue building this partnership. My question is, can technology or the AI that we're talking about today strengthen the relationship that is still existing already, or is it going to help us only to create a new trust between strangers? So if we have two strangers who are across the ocean, somebody's in Kenya and here in the US, technology, is it going to create the trust for these two people who are strangers, or it should be something that still exists, like a relationship still existing, and then we want to build on it?
Technology is definitely an enabler in strengthening, relationships. Nowadays I can meet my developer in Kisumu. I can see him face to face on Zoom. We can develop together using an AI product, right? We can collaborate. Many of these AI tools allow you to create a team, right? And you can develop together. So I think the tools available, the technology that's there, is actually going to strengthen the partnerships. Yeah, it's already strengthening partnerships. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's for him. That's great. So let's give him a clap as we move to Danish. Thank you so much. Danish is somebody who has worked in the High Court and is so much into the law, the legal perspective. And I would like to ask him this question, even as we come to the end of this. He's the one who pays much attention to detail. And now that we have talked about partnership, it needs one person who reads the terms and conditions. I know most of us, when we get to the terms and conditions, we click on I accept all. We don't even read. Yeah. While everybody is celebrating, Danish is the adult in the room now to tell us about the legal perspective, reading those terms and conditions. So as partners who are going to, in this digital world, the AI-driven, so what governance or security or legal safeguards should be non-negotiable for two people who are coming together? So what are those things we can say these are non-negotiables, even as we partner together, the governance and security, all those things that you can talk about that should be non-negotiable?
In this era of technological advancements, and mostly all of us, or majority of us, are actually fallen to this, we are culprits of failing to read terms and conditions. The devil is usually in the details, and that's why all the terms and conditions are usually in very minute and fine print to deter you intentionally not to read them. So, when you talk about non-negotiable to strengthen our partnership in this technological advancement age, as I mentioned, to enhance investor confidence, these things have to be put down. We have to have clearly put legal structural mechanism on how we relate. Don't say that you trust each other or we are buddies, we are friends. Please have everything put down in writing, number one. Number two, there are clear decision-making protocols.
We take 2 or 3, then we wrap it up.
Thank you very much, Cleo. I'd like to ask either Jacob or Karimi or my brother over there, anyone could take this. But what's your response on extractive tendencies when US, Kenya kind of collaborations? There is this very powerful country, you come from a first world country, you're going to Africa, you're going to Kidube, my home, and then you go and extract. How can we just kind of move away from that and find ways in which we bridge that, and then kind of like enhance reciprocity between partners and in the collaboration process that we do? Thank you.
Thank you. Karim, you want to take it now, briefly? There is the mic.
Maybe you can clarify. By extraction, do you mean extraction of resources, extraction?
It's kind of like a one-way partnership.
A one-way partnership.
Yeah, one-way. But how do we make it two-way?
How do we make it two-way?
In simple terms. Thank you.
Again, we go back to expectations, right? And the way the partnership is structured. Yeah, what are you bringing to the table? What am I bringing to the table? Those expectations, when they are set before any real work begins, right? And both sides of the partnership agree on it, then I think that's a good starting point. Yeah, and of course it also talks to the terms and conditions. Yeah, when both parties agree to the terms and conditions, right? Then it's a good way to move forward. But sometimes, as we see, like in the Kipia facility, one party was just told you're doing this, and you know, I don't mean to get into politics, but there are times when, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, let me just add one more thing. I think when you talk about one-way partnership here, this is where the government comes in. We need policies in place, like a country like Kenya can start fronting some of these policies to protect local knowledge. So that way, we have a lot of talents in Kenya, but the moment they come up with positive products, a lot of times they don't even get funding because they're just being done by Kenyans. That's something that I missed the conference yesterday, but I hope somebody has been able to, somebody mentioned that here, because there's a gentleman on LinkedIn, I don't know how I became connected with him a few months ago. He wrote a very mind-boggling article on LinkedIn. He said, Muzungu for hire or Muzungu for funding, because in Kenya, you do not get funding if you don't have a white man associated with you. Is it true? Yes. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of amazing, groundbreaking startups, but because they have no white man in the team, they don't get funding. Which is, we need to decolonize our mindset. We need, and that's kind of goes to some of the democratization of data some folks were talking here before. Also talks about coming with a Afrocentric driven AI technology products that are geared to solve our unique problems. But then our governments must come in and protect the developers, and protect the ecosystem so that we can avoid some of this exploitation by these large corporations, Microsoft and Google. I'm sorry for those of for your work, the big guys, but it's about time, and I think it's a matter of time. This will be gone, just like it was a couple of years ago in Kenya. If you didn't have the money, you never appear on TV, like ATN Citizen of Nation. But today, nobody even cares about those TV because there's democratization of media. People open their channel on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, they compete with those major media houses. So the same thing is going to happen with technology. So it's just a matter of time. And I hope the government gets in the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Edwin, we wrap it up on that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Danish wants to add something.
In a minute or 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Okay. Please don't restrict me. Okay, to avoid it from being a one-sided partnership or an imbalanced in partnership, that is why you need to have a good negotiator at the table. And not just a good negotiator at the table, but also, in addition to that, you need to have a playbook, which is a strategic playbook and a checklist, which then good negotiator is going to adhere to.
Thank you so much. I think we will close at that point, and thank you so much for listening.
Karibu sana. Makofi and Professor.
Makes life so easy. It makes it fun, actually, to get work done and efficient. Yeah.
Okay.
So automation.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for Karimi. This is the last one, and then we will come to the end, and then I will welcome the next session that we're going to have. And this last question to Jacob, I want everybody to close their eyes. No, I'm just kidding. So let's imagine we're in 2035 from today. And in 2035, today is 2026, we'll see the ecosystem of Kenya, US, and Kenya diaspora partnership. It could have shifted or have changed. Maybe it could have worked. Because I was talking to one of my brothers back there, and it was like, what do we need to change? Let's imagine we change so many things, and then it works. What does it look like? What will it look like in 2035 if it worked? The Kenyan diaspora partnership. What will it look like?
That's a wonderful question. So from people in the data world, which most of you are, we are very fond of running things called predictive models. These are the things that try to give us an indication of how things will look like in 5 or 10 years time from now. I think if I say that the partnership is not going to get better in 9 years time from now, I'll be lying. Because we are becoming more and more globally connected. That's a fact. Before 2000, before the year, this is called Y2K or something like that, 1999, people were not sure what's going to happen. I think we've gone from 2000 until 2026, we've gone through major technological breakthroughs. There have been a lot of things that have changed. In 2010, the concept of data, big data, was just coming up through 2015, before AI was a thing. And then now, in the last 5 years, from 2019 through now, AI is kind of taking over. So, but some of these things were predicted. And you guys, how many of you have ever watched the movie called The Matrix? Have you guys watched The Matrix? That movie came back in the year 2000, long time ago, before what we had before. And actually, if you watch that movie, and I encourage you to go and watch today, you will see that some of the things that were in that movie are actually things that are happening today. AI is a super forward-looking, forward-thinking movie about the effects of technology and how we'll be using technology to diagnose, like the presentation about using AI to diagnose disease and stuff like that. All those things were predicted in those movies. So what I'm trying to say is that, especially with KUSAT, KUSAT will only going to get stronger. We started 2 years ago by taking this concept to Kenya, to the ground. Now it's happening again today, and I'm sure all of you are going to take the word out. We're going to continue to build these bridges, and then we're going to continue to grow this kind of connection and interest, and we are creating opportunities. Jobs are being created, meaningful networks are being created. We see some groundbreaking technologies today in some of the previous presentations. So I have no doubt that things are only going to get better moving forward.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for Jacob. So I want to finish by saying this. I'm an educator, and I normally give assignments. Now that they have AI and ChatGPT, they normally go and copy and paste and bring them back. They don't even do it. Sometimes the parents do it. I hope those parents are not seated in here. But I want to say this. When we come out of this session, let's find that one person, not 10, not 20, that one person that we're going to partner with. And then 90 days from today, we're going to have something beautiful.